And welcome into On the Mark when on the mic here on the Recliner Media Network, reclinermedia.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe all of our socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and also our YouTube channel as well at Recliner Media. And don't forget to go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music to catch all the on-demand stuff as well. And of course, our home base, reclinermedia.com, for all of that goodness as well. Articles, blogs, and hell, catch some scores while you're on there as well. We are here Sunday evening. We are in the thick of it now between the NBA and NHL playoffs. We'll dive into that. We are seeing some team changes in the WNBA preseason moves, and we'll get into MLB baseball as well. And then, of course, later we will spin the wheel review to see what our new watching assignments are. I'm interested to hear Mark's critique of a famous movie that he desperately wanted to watch this go around. So we will see. Mark, how the heck are you this evening?
Doing pretty well. Considering my losses the last few days, I'm doing all right.
Hey, at least the season went a little bit further for you, I guess. And yeah, there's a lot to get into. Of course, we kick things off with what are you watching? Obviously, we just mentioned it. We are in the thick of things here in the the NBA and the NHL playoffs. We'll kick things off on the ice to start. And yeah, round two for a lot of teams now here in the NHL playoffs. That we've touched on this in weeks past. At NHL playoffs, just so fun to watch. We saw round two kickoff last night, and at least on the Eastern Conference, I guess the favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference, Mark, is the Carolina Hurricanes. They shut down the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia previously won the Battle of Pennsylvania, if you will, as they took out the Pittsburgh Penguins in round one. They advanced to round two and immediately get shut out by the Carolina Hurricanes. And so Carolina now with a 1-0 series lead. There is a game 7 going on right now. That is still round one, obviously, between the Montreal Los Habitants and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And that is all knotted up at 1 apiece, just over 15 minutes to go in the third period. Coming up here shortly, which is why I'm wearing this attire, is game 1, round 2, between the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. All of us here in Denver, Mark, are hoping that the Avalanche can avenge the Nuggets by beating their Minnesota hockey team. As we saw I think I've got out all my ranting and frustration, but if you do have any questions for me, I will be happy to rip somebody to shreds. But we are hoping that they avenge the Nuggets and their embarrassing, pitiful, shameful round one exit without the Timberwolves having three very good players not playing in that 6th game. But Avalanche and Wild kick things off today, beginning of their second round series. And then how about this matchup? I love this matchup, by the way. I am so glad, Edmonton is out of the playoffs. It just, again, we're down, what did we say? We're down to one Canadian team left in the playoffs, and it is Montreal, which I don't mind. I don't mind if they get through, but we see now how about the Vegas Golden Knights and the Quack Attack is back, Jack? How about that? The Mighty Ducks. Remember when we were on last week, we were like, come on, Quack. I think they ended up losing that game, but they did come back and win the series against Edmonton. Poor little David McNocup has to sit out again. Now they said he like fractured his ankle or ripped his ankle in half, or I don't know. But yeah, and then I commented on so many social medias like, oh, I even put the yawn emoji. I'm like, here come the excuses, like choking again. And so, yeah, they were very candid. I'll give them that. They were very candid in their series ending press conference. Like, yeah, we suck. Like we need to retool or I'm out of here, bitches. Like that's where seems like where Edmonton is not in a good place right now. And so, being in back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, Mark, they are in a bad place after a round one exit. So we do get to see, I'm very excited for this series between the Ducks and the Golden Knights. I think that's going to be a fantastic series. Again, I hope Anaheim gets out of it. It would be so awesome to see like a Colorado Anaheim Western Conference final. I don't know. I'm biased obviously for the Avs, but just to see somebody new, I get it. The Avalanche aren't new because they're kind of been a mainstay in the playoffs for the last couple of years. Golden Knights have been a mainstay in the playoffs. They're very consistently in the playoffs as well. But it's cool to see a team like the Ducks get past a quote unquote juggernaut. Everybody picked Edmonton to go to the Western Conference Final, and I'm glad they're all wrong, Mark.
Yeah, no, same. And kind of, I guess now here's the thing. At the beginning of all this, I did pick Edmonton to win over Anaheim, but I figured it would be like a 4-2 or maybe even a 4-3 series. But going into that, I hated the disrespect that the Ducks got. I mean, everybody threw them aside, which, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I thought, Edmonton would have won, but the absolute, what's his name being that famous clip, don't even bother watching the games, don't even bother, putting on the sweater anymore. Like, this is over. And it was just nice to see the Ducks turn around and just shove it down their throat. That was, I think, my favorite series up to this point, other than the Stars and the Wild, which another shootout, fun to watch. The Flyers and the Pens was another good one. Like you said, the Battle of Pennsylvania. And I absolutely hate the Canadiens and the Lightning. So I hope they tie and like go into like the 8th overtime, and they're so tired that whoever wins doesn't win the next series.
Yeah, and it's weird, I guess, for people in Denver to cheer for either Dallas and Minnesota right now. We're all mad at Minnesota, although I honestly don't really mind the Wild. Like I don't hate them like I do the Timberwolves, but obviously I hope they get swept, and so that's where we stand right now. But yeah, so it's been a good NHL playoff so far. Like we mentioned, just one round one game left between the Canadiens and Tampa, still knotted up at 1 apiece in the third period, just over 13 minutes to go in that one. And then, and then we get down to Sabres. Buffalo's just waiting for the winner of that one, so they won't play their first game until Wednesday. So Sabres have had a couple of days off as they wait for their second round opponent, again, either being the Lightning or the Canadiens. So we are waiting for that. So it's been a cool fun Stanley Cup playoff to watch. Over on the hardwood, Mark, it's kind of been again, different story. I think I got all the hatred out of my heart. You wouldn't know that if you followed me on X, but that's where we stand right now. I know it was a hard day for you yesterday as well. I was on with the Paisan guys, kind of got a glimpse of where they stand, and it was kind of like us in Denver. We're like, hey, Anthony Edwards is out, Dante DiVincenzo is out, DeSumo's out, who dropped 42 in game 3, like out of nowhere, game 2 out of nowhere. And we're like, hey, this is the best chance the Nuggets have to have all 3 of these guys out. And then, they just pissed their pants and shit all over the place and crapped on top of themselves and just didn't show any fight, heart, or will in that series. They did not want it. And again, I said this on Twitter. Congratulations to Minnesota for once again winning your championship, because that's all they care about, Mark, is just beating Denver.
Beating you.
You know why? Because the GM of the Timberwolves, Tim Connolly, was the GM of the Nuggets not too long ago. So that's all they care about, is beating the Nuggets. We will see you in Cancun very soon, Minnesota. So enjoy it while you can, because I think the Spurs are going to mop the floor with you. So we will see. Again, I probably will be eating my words for putting that out in the ethos, Mark, but that's where we stand. Again, the 76ers get a Game 7 victory over the Celtics yesterday. And again, just kind of like we were in Denver, the Paisan guys, Dante and the guys were like, hey, they don't have Jason Tatum. This is our chance to take advantage of that, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, just utter disappointment, and I hate all the excuses the Celtics fans are throwing out. Oh, well, Tatum this, or this call or this play, and whatever it is. I mean, fact of the matter is they underperformed. The left and they listed Tatum as left knee stiffness. So I don't know if he was hurt or injured. And my gut feeling is everybody thought they would win this Game 7 at home in the Garden. and he would have a couple of extra days off to get that knee right for the second round, and I think that was a huge mistake, and they took playing Philly for granted. Embiid, this whole series, all of a sudden wanted to play ball. Paul George, who was complete dog shit the first couple of games, wanted to all of a sudden show out, and he was dropping, 20 or 30 points the other night. Embiid last night, 34 points. Um, Edgecombe had 23 points. Maxey had 30 points. Now, here's the thing. Besides White and Brown, there was no big scores for the Celtics. Pritchard didn't come off the bench and do anything. Hauser was not the big man we needed in the paint. And just ultimately just a disgusting performance. And I was at work, so I got to come home and watch the last 5 minutes. And then, the last 2 minutes of the game, all of a sudden it's, we went from 100 to 98 to 105 to 98, and they just kept going. And I was just no one, there's no excuse, man. They got outplayed. They got beat at home. And I think that's the first time the Sixers beat the Celtics in the playoffs since like the 80s. So shame on you, Celtics, because that was your series to lose and you lost it.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we had 3 game 7s, by the way, in the span of 24 hours. Obviously, the 76ers Celtics game 7, the Pistons Magic game 7, that's going on. That happened today, and then obviously Toronto and Cleveland game 7, the most game 7s we've had in the playoffs period, Mark, since 2014. So that was interesting. The Pistons get it done in game 7 today. Magic, the Orlando Magic, and hats off to the Magic being an 8 seed and taking the Pistons. Can you imagine if the Pistons lost this series? I mean, they'd be in more shambles than we are in Denver. And so that's where that stands. But hats off to the Magic for taking that series the distance. They lose it today, 116 to 94. Paolo Banchero just balled out of control today. And I mean, man, 38 points. He was 14 of 25 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3-point distance. So Paolo really showed up in this game. Not much help around him. Wendell Carter Jr., 13, Desmond Bain, 16, and not much help off the bench beside Anthony Black with 11. So Paolo did everything he could to wield the Magic to victory, but just could not do it. The other game 7 in the Eastern Conference going on right now, Mark. How about the Toronto Raptors? Do we have another upset coming? They lead by 10 over the Cavaliers, 39 to 29, just over 7 minutes to go in that first half. And every home team has won the games in that series. And so Cleveland's at home right now, and they're down by 10. And yeah, could we see another upset? Who do you like in this game, and who did you want, I guess, originally to win this series?
So originally, I wanted the Raptors to win, although I thought Cleveland would walk away with it like a gentleman's sweep, a 4-1 type of thing. But yeah, no, I'm super happy with the Raptors and how they played, and going up by 10. If they can continue this momentum into halftime, that'll set the stage for the second half. So absolutely been loving the play. Barnes doing his thing this series. And kind of all over the place, and it's just been fun to watch, fun basketball, like you said, all those game 7s. The East really showing out, and yeah, cool, fun playoffs, for both the NBA and the NHL. So you got to tip your cap, especially Magic. No one saw that. I thought that was going to be a quick series. So congratulations to the Pistons, even though I hate them, and I hope they lose, But get on the Magic for putting up such a fight.
Yeah, so now what the playoffs look like, the Western Conference second rounds are all set. We will have the number 1 Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Lakers, who took care of the Rockets the other day. So they won that series 4-2. Do you give any chance to the Lakers in this series without Austin Reeves might return at some point in this series? I think Luka's still going to be out. Thunder obviously 100% healthy. The depth they have. What do you see this series shaking out to be?
I see
Is this your gentleman's sweep, maybe?
Yeah, I was gonna say I said this for a couple of them already, and I was dead wrong. But I definitely see a gentleman sweep. The Thunder pretty much gonna go ahead and walk through LA. Even with if Reeves was playing, I still give it to the Thunder on a 4-2 basis.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, none of the first round series in the Western Conference went to 7 games. The Eastern Conference had 3. So yeah, none of the first rounds went to 7. Obviously, the Thunder swept Phoenix, and the Spurs went 4-1 against against the Trailblazers, and then Rockets and Minnesota won their respective series 4-2. The other series in the West, we just mentioned it, the number 6 Minnesota Timberwolves against the number 2 San Antonio Spurs. What do you see this series? I hate to say that this series is going to go 7. I do hope the Spurs win this series for obvious reasons. But yeah, by the way, are you ever a component of and maybe we've touched on this in shows past, but are you a component of, well, why aren't you cheering for Minnesota? Don't you want to see the team that beat your team go all the way? Fuck no.
Nope. Nope. I hope they lose the very next round.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
I hope they get
all.
swept. I hope they get swept and they have to emergency land their plane in the middle of an island.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't understand. Never understood that mindset of cheer for the guys that beat you. Nope, they better get swept, and I'm done with them. And now now that organization is dead to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand that thinking. And there's times where I don't even understand. Well, you got to root for the one in your division. Why?
Yeah, I never understood that one either. Fuck all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm rooting for the guys that never won at that after my team's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, never been a believer in that. What do you have? What do you see the Western Conference Finals shaking up to be? Obviously, I'm assuming you picked the Thunder. Who are the Thunder playing in the Western Conference Finals?
I see them playing the Spurs, like you said. Just how Minnesota's moving right now. Don't know if I see it going 7, but I see 4-2.
Yeah, and no time. Obviously, DiVincenzo's out forever, and forever being the rest of this series, the rest of these playoffs, obviously, and still no timetable for Anthony Edwards either. So that could be scary for Minnesota if they do not get him back. And yeah, I think Wemby's going to wreck that series for Minnesota. Not even Gobert can match up with Wemby. He's in the Eastern Conference. We just kind of touched on it. The Knicks will now play the 76ers. Again, 2 teams that don't like each other either. The New York and Philly fan base are going to be clawing at each other. And so I don't know. I look, for as much as I don't like Embiid, he's still a matchup nightmare for anybody that tries to guard him. You saw it. Boston really had nobody to put on him. And you double them, it leaves one of those shooters open, like you said. Paul George finally decided to wake up and hit some and knock down some shots. But what do you make of this series, New York and Philadelphia?
Yeah, this one's going to be, especially after how the Sixers played against Boston. I think this one's going to be a shootout. I was a little worried, even if Boston would have won last night, either the Pistons or the Knicks later down the road worried me because of the inconsistency that the Celtics shown. So yeah, this one's going to be a shootout. Brunson and Towns kind of just doing their thing once again. And, the Knicks knocked out Boston last year and they play good ball at home. They play damn good ball at home. So yeah, I think this one might go 7. I think this one's 4-3 Knicks.
All right, yeah. I mean, I think I see the Knicks winning this series as well, but I think for as much as he's not an X factor, because you obviously game plan for him, I just don't know who's going to stop Embiid when he's 100% healthy like this. I obviously you're going to try to throw Cat on him. You're going to try to throw, Mitchell Robinson on him.
Yeah,
he probably matches up the best just because of size. But I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with Embiid. So there you go. Obviously, the Pistons move on as well. They await the winner of the Raptors and Cavaliers, who are playing as we speak. Raptors still hold a 9-point lead, 5.5 minutes to go in that third quarter. So I guess what is your determination here on whoever plays the Pistons next? Whether it is whether it is the Cavaliers or the Raptors, how do you see that series shaking out?
Yeah, I don't know. So the Pistons obviously kind of pulling a Celtics move over there. And like I said, no disrespect to the Magic, but that should have been a series that should have been handled. And honestly, on either side, the way that the Raptors and the Cavs kind of been playing and battling back and forth with being so close. And I wouldn't say an even matchup, but they're closely matched up. And I see them coming in with more momentum. We might have another game 7 over there, in that Eastern Conference semifinal, because the Pistons, unless the Pistons can figure it out, you know what I mean. Barnett for the Raptors, Barnett and Barnes, just kind of leading the way with Sheed. They come in hot on the other side with the Cavs. I mean, listen, everybody loves Mobley. Everybody loves, Wade and Allen, but or Mitchell, but Harden really kind of falls on him. I mean, what Harden are they going to get?
Yeah, are they going to get the Game 7 Harden that we're used to that doesn't show up? Or, well, he better show up because I put him in my parlay.
So that's my point. Yeah, I think those are my points on how it's going to shake out with the Pistons. If the Pistons can play consistent, I see a 4-3 Pistons, no matter who they play.
Yeah, I'll admit Pistons kind of scared me a little bit during that Orlando series. Maybe that woke them up. Maybe that put a little fire under them and say, hey, we can't play like this in the next round because we will lose. We won't get another 30 piece from Tobias Harris and other guys like that. So we will not get we probably won't get that performance again. Tobias Harris went off today, by the way. So there you go. Who do you see before we move on? Who do you see in the Eastern Conference Final?
Definitely the Knicks. That one I think is my I guess favorite for my picks. And like I said, oh man, it just depends on if the Pistons woke up or not. With coming in with a scrappy team on either side, whether it be Toronto or Cleveland. But on paper, right out of the gate, I'm going to go Pistons Knicks.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it shaking out. I guess my head is going Pistons Knicks. My heart is going Knicks versus whoever Detroit plays next.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so that's where I kind of land. But yeah, my heart wants whoever plays the Pistons next to win that series. So as it stands right now, again, just over 5 minutes ago, Raptors still hold a 9-point lead. By the way, over on the ice, the Canadiens take a 2-1 lead in that third period, 6.5 minutes to go. I will say this, Mark. I do want Tampa Bay to lose this series. Sick of them. Again, biased that the Avs are almost in the playoffs almost every year. And the Avs had to stop what could have been a three-peat, by the way, by Tampa Bay in 2022. So we're on the verge of seeing Tampa get eliminated in that. Obviously, a lot could happen in that 6 minutes left in the third period. So we will wait and see. We'll keep you updated throughout the show what happens with that, also with the Cavs and the Raptors. Anything else on your watching list, Mark?
Let's go to the MLB. Not that that's been any better to me as
how about them White Sox?
As the Padres drop a series to the White Sox, which I just feel. Listen, the White Sox are terrible. What are the Padres doing? And I understand baseball is a streaky sport.
It's a marathon. Definitely not a sprint.
Right. But the White Sox, I guess I really needed to pick me up, after the Celtics, really broke it for me. So, other than that, Padres doing really good this year, 20-13 on the season, only a half a game out of first. Miller's been looking good. Campusano's been looking good. Bogey's been doing his thing at the plate. Cronenworth doing his thing in the field. Merrill doing his thing. So Tatis and Machado picking it up as of late. So I can't really complain with the Padres play as of late. 4-6 in the last 10 though. So they They got to fix that.
Yeah, obviously, and when you're in a division with the Dodgers, you want to, no matter how early it is. I think we've maybe touched on this before, and you can't win a season in April, May, but you can lose the season if you dig yourself too deep. It's hard to climb out of that cellar. So you got to keep pace at least for the beginning few months. I know everyone here in Denver was all excited. The Rockies were like 6-8 through the first 14 games. Like, dude, there could be a different team. I'm like, dude, there's 150 games left. Can we not? Like, they're going to come down to earth. Everything's going to even out, and they're going to lose 100 games. Just that's what it is. And they dropped today to the Atlanta Braves, but they are, I guess, looking a little better, 14-21 as we stand right now. Good for second to last place in the National League West, just right above the San Francisco Giants. So, but again, when you're in a division like the Dodgers, you got to rattle wins off early, and you cannot bury yourself. I guess you could shoot for the wild card, but that's a crapshoot because you don't know really where that's going to land until maybe 2 months left in the season, maybe, if that. So that's where we stand right now. What else I'm watching? The WNBA preseason has kicked off. Today was the last preseason game for a lot of teams. This is kind of where the rosters start to take shape, Mark. This is where we see cuts and stuff like that. And it was really, really weird cut that I think it was yesterday. Maybe I saw the news today. It happened yesterday. Maybe it did happen early this morning. But during the WNBA draft, Mark, the Golden State Valkyries drafted Flau'jae Johnson from LSU, the highly touted Flau'jae Johnson, and traded her on draft night to the Seattle Storm for Marta Suarez, the senior from TCU. And everyone was shocked at this trade. They asked the GM why, and she said that she's not letting anybody know her secrets. Well, guess what, Mark? They waived Marta Suarez early this morning / late last night, which is just baffling everybody. Like, why did you trade Flau'jae Johnson for Marta Suarez on draft night only to waive her about 2.5 weeks later? This move did not make sense. Again, I wish I was an architect of a team, but this move is just baffling, and we've never seen it before. A trade on draft night. I get Marta Suarez was a second round pick. Flau'jae Johnson was a higher end first round pick, but either way, like, you made that was obviously the biggest trade on draft night and the most shocking trade on draft night, and now we come to find out it was kind of all for nothing.
Yeah, I think personally, I think they thought they had a gamble. Maybe somebody had a feeling that night, and now blew up in their face. I don't know why in any sport, in any situation, when you got a first round draft pick, I never understood, why. And I guess, like you said, I've never managed a team, but why try and go for the crazy play that you don't know? I understand going for the crazy play of, hey, let's trade to get this number one pick. But I've never understood, let's gamble tonight. Tonight's the night to gamble. Like, I've never understood that. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, so that was kind of baffling that they ended up waiving her. I mean, I think she'll get picked up somewhere. But, yeah, it was just kind of a weird circumstance. And then the comments of the Golden State GM to say, I'm not saying this, I'm not giving away my plans, I'm not letting anybody know, kind of behind the curtain type stuff. And then you cut her anyway. So hopefully she gets picked up somewhere. I'm nervous for a couple of women on some of the teams I follow, but we will find out. And so, yeah, it's really shocking to see. You kind of expect it from maybe somebody who went undrafted, Mark, to get cut a couple weeks into training camp, a couple weeks into preseason. But when you're drafted on draft night, you go up there, you get a jersey from the commissioner, you put on the hat, whether it's the hat you were drafted on, and then 5 minutes later you're traded and you put on another hat. To see that lady get cut was just baffling. So that was on my mind. Anything else on your watch list?
Nope, that'll do it for now.
One more before we move on my watch list. I again sucker for retirement speeches, Hall of Fame speeches, any kind of post-game speeches. I don't know if you saw this, but the Seattle Mariners retired Randy Johnson's number 51, the big unit, yesterday. Cool ceremony and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, I had totally forgot this, Mark, that now Seattle has two number 51s retired, in that of obviously Randy Johnson, who played there for 9.5 seasons. But how about Mr. Ichiro Suzuki wore number 51 for Seattle for what, 12? I don't know how long. I in between 12 and 15 years, I would assume. That. So that begs the question. At least, I tweeted X this out yesterday, and I said I took a screenshot of both number 51s now in their stadiums next to each other. I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 months ago, Mark, there was talk here in Denver about retiring Carmelo Anthony's number. He was number 15. You know who wears number 15 right now? Nikola Jokic. And they're like, can they retire both? Is it possible? So I took a screenshot of Ichiro's and Randy Johnson's number, and I tweeted it out. I said, can this end the argument of if or can the Nuggets retire both Jokic's and Melo's number? And I just threw it out there in the ethos, and I was like, can this settle the debate? Seattle just did it with two great Hall of Fame players. Can or should the Nuggets, and or any other team, Mark, for that matter, can you now retire two players with the same number?
It never. I understand. See, this one's a tough one because I understand wanting to celebrate that player and what they've done for the organization. But when you retire a jersey number, right, that means nobody behind them can wear it in honor of, right? And if you've already retired that number, how do you retire that number twice? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I do know, and in Randy Johnson's speech, he said when Seattle got Ichiro, he called me and asked if he could wear number 51. And again, there's behind the curtain conversations like, hey, because they retired Ichiro's number 51 last year, and they probably called Ichiro this year and were like, hey, we know we retired your number. Is it, maybe they didn't even say, is it cool if we retire Randy Johnson's number? Hey, we're going to retire Randy Johnson's number 51 as well. So it's not like Randy Johnson, when he left Seattle, it's not like they retired it right then. And so Ichiro, I mean, it wasn't retired for Ichiro not to wear it, but he did have the respect and wherewithal to call Randy Johnson and say, hey, is it cool if I wear 51? And Randy Johnson said, dude, do whatever. Like, go ahead. Like, I don't care. Right. So it was a cool ceremony, and Randy Johnson was, I don't know if you knew this, but he is a photographer now for the MLB, which is, and I think he's been on some NFL sidelines as well. So that is cool. But I mean, like you said, is it possible for teams now to kind of shut that question down? Like, I'm trying to remember when Randy Johnson left Seattle and when Ichiro got to Seattle. Obviously there was no overlap, but it's not like Ichiro couldn't wear the jersey number because it was retired. So I guess it is possible to retire to now for sure nobody can wear it.
Right.
Now it's etched in stone, but is it possible now to kind of end that debate for other teams who may be struggling with this decision?
Yeah, I think it does. Like I said, it never made sense to me on those kind of conversations. Obviously, there's those situations where certain players are grandfathered in or accepted to wear a certain number in a certain organization due to behind the scene things or special permission or whatever the case may be. But I think it ends the debate because no matter what anybody thinks, they've done it, right? I mean, it happened.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess if Seattle can do it, anyone can do it. Nuggets can do it now when Jokic retires, and maybe they don't do it. Maybe they don't do like a dual ceremony with both of them. But yeah, I think it kind of settles that debate whether a team can retire two numbers now. And did it ever bother you that Mariano Rivera was able to wear 42 after? I know he was grandfathered in, like you mentioned, but why? Did you ever wonder why he was never asked to change his number?
I wondered. It never bothered me. I've always, I think, across the planet, 42 is a special number because of Jackie Robinson and what he had done for the league. It didn't bother me, but I always wanted to know the why. So if anybody knows, please let us know. But I think that was kind of a special thing. What I kind of want to touch on. I wish teams, when they do want to honor these guys, by retiring their number, I wish they do it in a timely manner instead of trying to time it to where they can make the most money, using that as a promo night, obviously. Um, hey, come witness history, come watch this person speak. Addition to all the other things. Like, I understand it's a business move, but I wish they would have the mindset of handling and taking care of the player first, so that maybe we wouldn't run into these kinds of issues.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, obviously they do set it up to sell some tickets and stuff like that. Ichiro was there, Jay Buhner was there, Ken Griffey was there, so it was a cool ceremony. If you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube. Go back and watch it. Again, sucker for jersey retirement speeches, Hall of Fame speeches, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it does raise the question, like it is now possible for a team to retire two numbers at the same time. So there you go. I think it would be cool to be Mariano Rivera, by the way, and be like, hey, I'm the last one who could have wore 42, bitches. Like, look at me now.
Right. But you know what? I wonder how he felt on Jackie Robinson Day, because he wears that number every day. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's like, little do they know, I can wear this number tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Anything that you're upset about that you're not watching before we move on to the wheel review?
Just the whole Jason Tatum knee injury thing. I mean, I'm to a point I question his, the pride and the heart, for the game, and the want to win. Like I said, unless he comes out with something serious, it really kind of pissed me off that he took that game out. Like I said, it really, to me, appeared as if they said, this one's in the bag, boys. We're at home. It's the Sixers. We're fine. And like I said, I mean, no disrespect to the Sixers. Embiid and George, Embiid especially been balling out. So, no disrespect, but at the same time, the Celtics were the better team and they should have won. And they have no one to blame but themselves. So yeah, that I'm just not for it. Like I said, you better have an ACL tear. Like, I don't want to hear this stiffness. That's like saying, oh, back spasms, can't do it. Man, get in there and go play some damn ball.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of brought up when I was on the Paisan guys pregame show yesterday, and I was like, it's like he really has to be hurt for him not to play in a win or go home. And they kind of brought up the point too, like, listen, the core between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum is set. Like they're young enough to where they can afford. Like, this isn't, for as much as it was a must win, it wasn't a must win to ruin their future, if that makes any sense. So maybe that's why too. Like, listen, Jason Tatum just missed like 98% of our season because he ruptured his Achilles last year, and so we're not taking any chances. Like, he is hurt. Like, and like we've seen other things happen. Like everyone's talking about Aaron Gordon's calf. Like, he's been riddled by this calf injury since last playoffs. And all the, I guess, medical experts, so to speak, say it's going to lead to an Achilles injury because he's compensating on it so much. And we saw him try to give a game in this series a go, and then he missed the next one because it's just, you don't want to take the chance. And I guess they felt like, hey, we either have this in the bag or we're not leveraging our future on Jason Tatum's calf or
Right.
knee or whatever.
Right.
So that side of it kind of made sense too.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't really look at it as the future. I mean, for me, I do get it, but at the same time, like, I blame the sport of basketball in the sense of the load management and not, I don't know, not throwing it all out on the floor. I mean, how many times have we heard some of these stars come out and say, why do I need to try every game? Why do I need to try hard?
Yeah.
I'm only going to put forth this much effort for this game type thing.
Yeah. By the way, the Montreal Canadiens have knocked off the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1, and they will advance to the Eastern Conference semis, where they will take on the Buffalo Sabres. So that series is over. That series is over. I love that Buffalo's in the playoffs too, by the way. It's kind of ironic that Montreal has advanced this far, Mark, because they were the last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup way back in 1993. Mark, I was 6 years old when Montreal last won when a Canadian team. Not only was it Montreal, but the last time a Canadian team won a Stanley Cup, 1993. You know who was in net for the Montreal Les Habitants back in '93?
Who?
Patrick Waugh was still their goalie back in
I thought he
1993.
had already went to Colorado at
He
that
did
point.
not come to Colorado until so Colorado moved to Denver in the 95-96 season. Patrick Waugh was traded in the middle of that season.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So
That's
Patrick
a
Waugh
little
would not come to Denver
tidbit
for at
there.
least 2.5 years. And he won, I think he won 3 cups with Montreal anyway. So it's
Right.
hard to, by the way, isn't it hard to imagine that Montreal is like the Lakers and the Celtics of the NHL? They have like 27 Stanley Cups.
Yeah. I know that was funny. I was just telling
Or like
Wingman.
I guess the better comparison is the Yankees of hockey because they have like, I mean, they if you go back and look, I think they had won like 6 or 7 straight Stanley Cups in like the 40s or 50s. It was crazy. Granted,
Yeah.
there was only like 6 teams back then, but still.
Yeah, no, they still got them as they're still under their belt. Original 6 team. I get it, but yeah, it's. I was talking to a buddy about it the other day. It's kind of funny because they really haven't been all that good since pretty much once the turn of the century, right? Once once the 2000s hit, they kind of really. I mean, they've had decent teams and competitive teams in that stretch, but they've never been like, oh shit, look out for these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there you go. Montreal moves on. Anything else before we move on here?
No, that's all I got. Just utter disappointment to share. That is it.
Yeah, I've already gone on my rants and stuff about the Nuggets, so I'm not going to go into that. If you want to know anything, go to X slash Twitter and read the comments on there. Um, so yeah, that's or watch the or rewatch the Game 7 pregame show with the Paisan guys yesterday with Zach and Dante. So you'll hear it on there. I'm not going to waste any more time or breath on that situation. So all I say is let's have a garage sale in Denver. That's all I'm going to say. All right, it is time for the wheel review. We transition into our entertainment portion of the podcast. Mark had to watch Air Bud Golden Receiver last week, the very popular sequel to Air Bud, the basketball playing dog. Was it the same dog? Did they keep the same dog, do you think?
I mean, it looks like it, but I guess that's not saying a whole lot because you can find identical dogs. But that is a good question. I should have looked that up.
Yeah, I don't know. Was he in the credits? I don't know. But then I had to watch. I watched the first 5 episodes. I don't remember if that's what you tasked me for, Mark, or was it just the pilot?
Five. I want to say five, right?
Well, I did watch 5 because I don't remember. I guess I could have went back and watched, but that's way too much work, so I did not do that. But I did watch 5 just to be safe. So give us your rundown on your favorite animal movie, Air Bud, Golden Receiver, taking his talent to the gridiron.
It's 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 a '90s movie for sure. Made in '98, so and the original Air Bud made in '97.
Yeah, they had to pump one out quick after that success.
They had to ride that wave. Everybody loved that basketball playing dog. Like you said, he definitely transitions to the gridiron, where Josh, who the original kid, they kept the same the same cast and all the characters. They kind of worked off the first storyline, and now the mom started dating the town vet. So now Josh is kind of struggling with the new dad in the picture, if you will. And he picks up playing football for his junior high team, where the coach, now I didn't understand how much pressure this guy is for a junior high football program. And they need to start winning, or he has to face the program being shut down. So apparently, football super important in Frenfield, Washington. So keep that in mind moving forward. But yeah, pretty much the quarterback breaks everything, I guess. He's not able to play anymore. The team's on the losing streak. The dog is, watching every game. And they end up finding out that Tom Brady was onto something with Deflategate because this dog can catch that ball. So the original Deflategate team, they Josh becomes the quarterback. They start winning ball games. Buddy's doing his thing, officially added to the roster, and ends up getting hurt. So now he has to be sidelined, and the team is forced to believe that they can win without Buddy. On the other side, you have this crazy Russian circus person. What do they call that? When you run when you run the circus. Well, she's that person.
The ring.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she's
no idea.
she's in charge of this half-ass circus, if you will. And on the day of the championship game, of course, nonetheless, she goes in and kidnaps Buddy to make him her own, so that he could be in her act. Then this is where Josh and the dad Patrick come together. All of a sudden, we're a family now. They go in, they get him back, and they get him back in time before the game, as they had one hell of a chase to get that dog back. So super important. You get him back to the stadium in time for the second half. Some real Bobby Boucher stuff, and Buddy gets the game back into close enough to back into striking distance, and then lo and behold, as if you never knew it, Josh leads his team to victory. And that's that. And that is 10 out of 10. If you are over the age of 7, do not recommend. Very corny, very 90s. Like I said, even as a kid, I never watched it because I thought after the first airbud, but even at that age, okay, we're done here, folks. Let's move this along.
Yeah, so not recommended. Where would you rank this among the sequels that we've seen in recent years? After obviously we see sequels kind of like not even one, maybe 2-3 years after the original. They pumped this bad boy out a year later. Did they rush it? Could they have rushed this?
I think they did. The storyline was a little choppy, a couple of holes in the story, but I guess we've seen worse sequels. Not even gonna lie, because sometimes the sequels don't have the same characters or even the same storyline, to make it make sense. So I guess it's not terrible. I mean, in the sense of sequels, if you will. I'd probably give it a 6.7.
6.7 on the Richter scale. There we are. Out of 7, by the way. Just kidding.
That's right.
So I had to watch the first 5 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'll be honest with you up front, Mark. Will not continue watching this series. I did not like it.
Really?
I like Andy Samberg, but for some reason this just did not click with me. I don't know why. Episode 1, the pilot, we meet Jake Peralta, played by the aforementioned Andy Samberg, a talented but immature detective who treats police work like a game. His new boss, Captain Raymond Holt, played by I think he passed away in the last couple of years, Andre Brower, in a serious, robotic, and classy they kind of clashed. Their styles kind of clashed. And then we meet Amy Santiago, played by Melissa Fumero. I think that's probably butchering her name, is introduced as Jake's hyper-competitive, rule-following co-worker. So you have the goofy guy, you have the rule follower, and then you have like kind of the detective dude just trying to keep it all together. I don't know, early Samberg, early Jake. It's just very, and maybe just because I used to like goofy comedies, Mark. I don't know. It's almost like a sketch style. I don't know. For whatever reason, this just didn't land with me. Episode 2, Jake realizes that they have arrested the wrong guy, showing he's more competent than he lets on. Holt continues to push him to be better. Um, and then the girl obviously keeps trying to prove that she's the best. So again, just competing against each other, back and forth, back and forth. They're starting to show a little depth here, but it's still heavy on the exaggerated humor, if you will. Episode 3 was called The Slump. Jake goes through a slump where he has no arrest and starts questioning himself. Holt gives him a case that ends up being more important than expected. This kind of leads into more of Holt, the main guy, or the main, was he a detective? Yeah, or captain, sorry. Captain Holt starts being a mentor figure more than anything. Goes in episode 4, Jake works a more eccentric medical examiner and tries to impress Amy. Their dynamics start shifting from rivalry to somewhat more personal. I don't want to say it kind of turns into a love interest, but it kind of does at this point. Although they are super competitive, this episode is more character focused, but still leans on awkward humor that again doesn't hit for everybody. I don't know why. And then the final episode that I watched, the Vulture, the reveal, or excuse me, the rival detective steals a case right before they're solved, frustrating the whole squad. The team bands together to try to beat him. This is where we're introduced to Terry Crews, who seems to be in every goddamn thing. We are introduced to Charles Boyle, Rosa Diaz, and this is kind of where the ensemble cast does start to click. I like that about it, but kind of these early episodes, Mark, leave heavily on Andy Samberg's comedic style. Early Andy Samberg, maybe I just saw that. I don't want to say he wasn't ready for the lifting of a comedic show all by himself, but that's kind of what it seemed like. It was kind of raw, to be honest with you. But yeah, I just don't feel like I'm going to continue this series. Is that disappointing for you?
It is. It is. It's one of my favorite silly comedy series. Um, you know, but I do. You make one hell of a point, and I didn't really think about it until you said it. They do lean heavy on strictly his comedy, and so a lot of his comedy is just dumb. so so I completely understand that. But yeah, moving forward, if you ever do decide moving forward, the seasons come together a lot better. There's way more character development where you get to see a lot more of everybody in their own struggles, their own comedies, their own jokes. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's kind of a hell of a point. I get that.
Yeah, and maybe if I have really nothing else to watch, I'll continue it to see if it does get better. But if it turns into the weird charade of Arrested Development, then I'm going to be very, very disappointed. That just got weird towards the end.
Yes, it did. Yes, that
All right.
did.
Yeah, let's pull up our wheel review here as we get ready to spin our infamous wheel. And again, if you're new to the program, we're gonna spin the wheel, see what we have to watch and break down next week. Mark, why don't you go first? Let us know when you're ready.
Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Another damn movie.
You rarely get. You almost got TV show. It was on the cusp. On the cusp.
I don't know. I'm happy to get a movie because all I've been getting is TV shows, but I don't want another Air Bud draw. I just don't.
There you go. All right, when you're ready.
Let's go.
Action.
Okay. We're on a little run here. Maybe I won't be disappointed. Maybe I'll be excited about this assignment.
I don't remember what's in action. So here we go. Inception, The Matrix franchise, Jason Bourne franchise, Rambo, National Treasure, Wanted, Alien franchise, John Wick what is this what is franchise? Wow. I'm assuming Die Hard is the franchise too. So yeah. Maybe you've got to watch the first one and then we just take that one off the list, I guess. I don't know, but let me know when you're ready.
Or do I do one of those movies per week? What are we doing here? We need to decide.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a question for the producer. But let me know when you're ready.
Let's run it.
Please get a franchise. Maybe. Oh.
Die Hard.
What is that? Oh, that was like right on the line.
That was
a close call. All right. Well, I'm assuming you just have to watch the first Die Hard, and then if you land on it again, is what I'm hearing, then you'll go to 2, and then so on and so forth. So
fair enough. I like it.
That's where we are. All right, my spin now. Let me guess. It's a TV show, you son of a bitch. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Very, very, what is the word?
I feel like the deck was stacked.
Yeah. Very, like you could tell this is coming. All right, here we go.
Very predictable.
Yes. Let me guess. Comedy cartoon? I'm not a fan of cartoons.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, Family Guy, American Dad, Star Wars. That's weird. South Park, Futurama, Simpsons. Did we already do South Park?
I did American Dad.
And I did Futurama. And we did Futurama.
Yeah. I think you should respin. We gotta fix that, I think.
Yeah, we'll go back to genre because clearly somebody's stupid. All right. I think this is the first time I've gotten this. What am I doing? Jerk.
Hey, it was meant to be. It was super.
Look at that. Look at that. I should have put a bet on that. All right, TV superhero series. What do we got? Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, Daredevil.
I think I did Daredevil.
Yeah, I thought we did. All right, well, at least there's only one. So if it lands on that, I'll just respin this one.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, not a good night for spins. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
If it's the third time, bro. If it's the third time, it's meant to be.
Put your money down now. This is a roulette table now. All right, here we go.
There you go.
Ironheart. I've yet to watch this, so I'm a little excited to watch this.
Nice.
So there you go. That was fun. So Mark is a test. I already forgot what you had to watch to be
Die Hard.
The Die Hard #1. And then you'll be able to tell us if it's a Christmas movie or not really. And then so I got to watch Ironheart, the superhero series. Oh yeah, we forgot to do the last there's another wheel we spin on TV shows, by the way. So here we go.
Oh yeah. Yeah, how many episodes?
Yeah, we got to do that really quick. Let's see. Thank God. All right.
That was a close one. That was a close one.
Thank goodness it's the pilot, because that's all I have the energy for. So I got to watch Ironheart, the pilot. Mark has to watch Die Hard 1, and we will reconvene next week with our breakdown, recommendations, or whether we wanted to put a pen through our eye while watching it. So I don't think Die Hard's going to be as good as Golden Receiver.
It's going to come close, I bet you. I bet you it'll be real.
Well, you got to watch Die Hard 2 to see where the sequels line up. That's what you got to do.
There we go. That's what it is. I think you're onto something.
There you go. But that's going to do it for us here on the Mark Win on the mic here on the Recliner Media Network. Don't forget to go to all of our socials, like, subscribe, everything, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Go to all of that. Any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
Hope everybody has one hell of a week, and I'm glad that I don't have to watch another Air Bud movie, so I will be just fine.
Yeah, that was some crazy spinach there. Crazy spin. So we will take a break for a week, and we will see you all next week. For Mark Saxton, I am Michael Spillin. We will talk to you then.